Morning, Abotai. Last week we were speaking about some of the halachot of borer, of selecting on Shabbat. A very interesting question comes into play. What happens if a person, we'll speak about if you did know or did not know the laws of borer b'Shabbat, and he selected something on Shabbat in the forbidden manner. For instance, let's say there was a bowl of nuts in front of him. There were shells and nuts all mixed together. He picked out all of the shells, all of the peels from the bowl and took them out. That is Isur Deoraita of Borer on Shabbat. Could have done it in a permissible manner, but he did it Isur. What's the status now? Can he eat that bowl of nuts? Or the same thing with the salad. Person doesn't like onions in the salad. He took out all of the onions from the salad, put it on the side, and now all the rest is left. He transgressed the Torah prohibition. The question is, now what's with the food? So this sugya really starts, it's a Gemara, several places in Shas, Chulin Daf Tedvav, Ketubot Daf Lamedalet. The Gemara brings a machloket tanaim. If a person does a prohibition on Shabbat, can you have enjoyment? Can you benefit from the product of that prohibition? For instance, let's say a person cooks something on Shabbat in a forbidden manner. What's the halacha? The Shulchan Aruch and the Rama in Siman Shin Yudchet rule like Rabbi Yehuda, who says as follows: the halacha is that if a person did it bimezid, if a person did it on purpose, he knew that it was asur, and he did it anyway, it's asur for everybody to eat, anybody else to eat until Motzei Shabbat. For the person who did it, for the person who cooked it, it is asur forever. You did the isur, it's asur to eat that forever. If a person did it b'shogeg, he didn't know it was asur, it's asur, both for other people and for the person who did the isur until Motzei Shabbat. Now, the halacha seemingly now extends not only from cooking, it extends to all other isurim as well. If a person laundered on Shabbat, if a person did borer on Shabbat, it would seem that the halacha is that you cannot do this. If he did it, let's say, if he did it b'shogeg, it will be mutar to eat on Motzei Shabbat. But if a person did this borer b'mezid, he knew it was asur. Right? A lot of people know the basics of borer, but he says, you know what? Forget it. Let me just do it anyway. That's called b'mezid. It will be asur to eat those nuts forever. So rules Maran Rabbeinu Yosef Chaim in a Sefer Rav Pe'alim, the Ben Ish Chai rules that it is asur to eat that forever, similar to the law of cooking on Shabbat. Maran Zechron Livracha, in several of his works, in Yabe Omer and Chazon Ovadia, he disagrees with the Ben Ish Chai for several reasons. Number one, he says there's a very big difference between cooking and borer. By borer, you didn't really enjoy, you didn't benefit so much from the isur, because the same way you removed the bad from the good, which is the isur, you could have gotten the same product by removing the good from the bad, the food from the waste, and therefore it would have been mutar. Therefore, there's not so much enjoyment as opposed to cooking. There's no way to cook this food without transgressing some sort of prohibition. That's one difference. Now, he quotes the Tzitz Eliezer, going to be Eliezer Yehuda Waldenberg, who says, La halacha, he quotes him, what he says you can do is that on Shabbat, after you did this, if you take the peels again, now here, you have two piles now. You took out the shells, and here are the shells, here are the nuts. Or you took out the onions, and here's the rest of the salad. After you did that, you can take the waste, quote unquote, the onions or the peels or the shells, take that, mix it back into the bowl, mix it back in together. Now what? There's no more hana'ah. There's no more benefit because you're back to square one. Over there, the hana'ah doesn't remain. Once you do that, it is mutar to consume it immediately once again on Shabbat, unlike the ruling of the Ben Ish Chai in Rav Pe'alim. That is how Maran Zechron Livracha concludes this discussion. Have a wonderful day.